In today's video, we're going to fly on the smallest mainline aircraft in the American Airlines fleet out of one of the most restricted airspaces in the US. You'll get to see the uniqueness of American's A319, the special departure procedure out of Washington Reagan Airport, and a stunning sub-zero temperature arrival in Chicago. So without further delay, let's jump on board and head back home. Good afternoon from Washington Reagan National Airport in our nation's capital. I just came in from White Plains, New York on a CRJ-700 like this one and have about an hour before my onward flight to Chicago. Reagan Airport is located about 5 miles from Washington, D.C., just across the Potomac River. As such, important D.C. landmarks such as the U.S. Capitol, Washington Monument, and Jefferson Memorial can be easily seen from the terminal. Reagan Airport is a major hub for American Airlines, more specifically its regional arm, American Eagle. American inherited the DCA hub following its merger with US Airways. Today, it's the largest airline at the airport and controls around 30% of the total market share. American's influence on the airport played a key role in the opening of the new Concourse E back in 2021. This 14-gate concourse caters exclusively to American Eagle and American flights and replaced the infamous Gate 35X, which was essentially a group of remote stands used for regional jet flights. After walking around and grabbing some lunch from Concourse E, I made my way towards my gate. Reagan is a rather easy airport to connect through, especially if you're flying American, who operate exclusively from here in Terminal 2. Terminal 2's 4 concourses, B, C, D, and E, are all interconnected, and concourses B through D are all accessible through the stunning hallway dubbed National Hall. Now, despite Terminals 1 and 2 being physically connected, you can't get between both terminals post-security, so that's just something to keep in mind. Our flight this afternoon is American 1606 to Chicago O'Hare, currently showing as on time, a huge relief. The entire Midwest was being hit with some serious winter weather that caused countless travel disruptions. That's actually the reason why, to be safe, I rescheduled my flights to travel on January 14th as opposed to my original plan of January 12th. Most of DCA's concourses in Terminal 2 are more or less the same in terms of amenities. During peak times, they might seem a bit congested, but they do have an abundance of retail and food options. This will be my first time on the American Airlines A319. Our aircraft today is November 717 Uniform Whiskey that was originally delivered to US Airways and then acquired by American in 2013 following the merger. As a fun fact, this aircraft actually wore the special Carolina Panthers livery during its time with US Airways, a promotional scheme for the Carolina Panthers NFL team based in Charlotte. American operates the world's largest fleet of Airbus A319s with 133 of these aircraft in the fleet. There are actually 2 types of A319s that American operates, but regardless, both subfleets have the same configuration. There are 128 seats total, with 8 in first class and 120 in main cabin, with 24 of them being main cabin extra. 32 of the 133 A319s are legacy American aircraft, meaning American ordered these aircraft directly from Airbus. These aircraft are easily recognizable because they have sharklets, and their cabins are pretty awesome too, as these are one of the only narrow-body planes left in the entire fleet still with in-seat entertainment throughout the aircraft. The other 101 A319s are all second-hand aircraft with a less exciting interior, as you'll see shortly. Most of these planes originally flew for US Airways, with a handful being acquired from Frontier Airlines. My seat today is 9A in main cabin extra. The seats are pretty decent comfort-wise, but what makes the A319 seats different from the usual Oasis main cabin seats is the seat back itself. As you can see, there's no device holder and instead just a literature pocket. As usual, there is a tray table and a lower seat pocket for personal belongings. The legroom in main cabin extra is fine, but on the A319 it's a bit restricted thanks to a little hardware box by your feet. In-seat power is available in the form of universal power outlets per every 2 seats, and then above all seats are air vents, reading lights, and call buttons. It's worth noting that despite being on a basic economy ticket, my Oneworld Ruby status entitled me to priority boarding and free seat selection, which was pretty nice. This flight was also supposed to be rather empty, however it seems that due to travel disruptions, many standby passengers cleared onto this flight, meaning that we'd be departing completely full.
All exits are clearly marked with signs and opening instructions. If needed, exit path lighting in the aisle will illuminate near the floor and guide you to an exit indicated by signs and lights. Keep in mind the closest exit may be behind you.
Snack service began shortly into the flight. It was the usual choice of drink and Biscoff cookies, but I decided not to go for it this time around. In-flight entertainment on the majority of the A319s is limited to streaming entertainment via the Wi-Fi. This is also available on the 32 legacy A319s, but those also have seatback entertainment. The streaming entertainment is just like usual, but has lots of content that will keep you entertained. It also shows the destination weather so you know what to expect upon arrival. In my case, a very cold Chicago. Chicago was much colder than the East Coast today. While our flight wasn't impacted by the severe cold, the same cannot be said unfortunately for many other flights going in or out of O'Hare that day. Our approach was pretty normal for the winter months, descending over northwest Indiana and then Lake Michigan, then coming past the city for landing on runway 28 Center.
Welcome you to Chicago. The time here is 3:49. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the aircraft has been parked.
A massive thank you to American Airlines for being super accommodating to all passengers traveling during this chaotic winter storm period in the Midwest. The flight overall was fine, nothing special, but I am especially grateful to American for allowing all passengers, even basic economy ticket holders like myself, to change their flights in light of the winter storm. It made the overall experience much more stress-free for both myself and my family. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's video. I was supposed to head over to Union Station to catch Amtrak 305 down to Bloomington since my car was still at Bloomington Airport, but I ended up canceling the train ticket since my dad said he could drive me down anyway. And it's a good thing I canceled the ticket in advance because on this particular day, train 305 itself was canceled due to the cold weather. Well, that concludes this short travel period for my winter break, and it would only be another day before I return to campus for the spring semester. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until I see you next time, stay safe and take care. Goodbye.